anyone out there has heard of any of these movies that me and Adam are about to talk about, you know your stuff. Hey everyone, welcome to another Top 10 list. Welcome to my Top 10 most underrated animated movies of all time. Well, in my opinion, of course. But yes, I've done so many Top 10s about animated movies, and this is the last one, I swear. No, it's not, but still. I thought I'd talk about underrated animated movies. Movies that either were not, financially, successful, or movies that people don't talk about anymore. Overlooked, underrated, tomato. Movies that are just people that... These movies aren't classics. These aren't the big Disney films or the big Pixar films. These are films that people should be talking about more. These are great anime films that people just need to watch more. And yes, I have a guest to help me with this top 10 list. He's back a third time on my channel, Mr. Adam Daly from Almost Sideways. Introduce yourself, Adam.
Hello guys, what's going on? Adam from Almost Sideways. Reviews, reactions, and rankings of all things movies. What an honor to be back on your channel once again, Jay. This is going to be a fun list. Really hard coming up with this because the criteria is very up in the air and it's all up to interpretation. But I think I have a good, solid top 10 list of films that definitely need to be talked about and get shown some more love.
Yeah, it's very true. There's a lot of different opinions of, what is underrated. What considers a movie underrated? Again, this is all just opinion again. So yeah. We're going to start this off. We'll start off with honorable mentions. Adam's my guest. He'll go first. He'll do his honorable mentions. I'll do my honorable mentions. He'll go 10, 10, 9, 9. You know how it works. Start it off, Adam.
All right, so honorable mentions time. So my first honorable mention, I'm going to get the big company out of the way. Pixar. I feel Ratatouille is a very underrated film. We don't talk about that film as much. I love Ratatouille. Enough for the big blockbuster films now. Disney, I have The Great Mouse Detective, as well as The Black Cauldron, are very underrated, darker Disney films. Moving away from that company, I have a 93, early 90s animated film called The Thief and the Cobbler. It was going by Arabian Nights, so good one there. Titan A.E., Jerry Seinfeld's B movie. I enjoy that one a lot more than most, so I'm going to say it's underrated. And also a little darker, very deep film called Little Nemo's Adventures in Slumberland. That is my honorable mentions that I have.
Never even heard of that last one. Good honorable mentions. Alright, let's get to my honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. Alright, I have a bunch. My honorable mentions are Pompoko, The Road to El Dorado, Song of the Sea, Summer Wars, Boy and the Beast, Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, and The Great Mouse Detective, just like Adam. Those are my honorable mentions. Just give me the top 10 list. But let's get to the number 10s. Adam.
All right, some good honorable mentions. Coming in number 10 on my list is a 1980s TV film that I used to watch all the time growing up, on reruns, of course. But it was the Alvin and the Chipmunks film called The Chipmunk Adventure. Now, I thoroughly love this film so much because it shows the Chipmunks, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore going against the Chipettes. They are going around the world trying to find these dolls, these chipmunk dolls, and they have to take them to different points. They think they're in a competition, but little do they know they're actually transporting jewels for the bad guys. Thoroughly enjoy this film so much, especially when they figure out who's the bad guys and that they're actually not doing what they think they are. It's a very fun film, a very fun adventure film with some really good musical numbers. I'm a big Alvin and the Chipmunks fan. I used to watch them all the time growing up, so this was a mainstay in my house. So this is a film that I feel like doesn't get talked about as much now because we've had these live action Alvin and the Chipmunks films, but this is a good classic chipmunk adventure that you should definitely check out.
Never seen that movie. I'll put it on the list because I didn't watch Alvin and the Chipmunks when I was younger. I only know those really bad live action ones with Jason Lee. Those are the only ones I know. But yeah, everyone says the anime ones. Watch those. Those were good. I'm like, so yeah, I'll do that. All right, let's get to my number 10. My number 10. This is very it's difficult to call this an underrated film because as of now, it's gotten popular as it's gotten out more and stuff. When it first came out, though, in 1999, it tanked in the box office. And even like if I did this list 10 years ago, this would be like in my top three. But since because of Ready Player One and stuff, this movie's being more and more loved. So it's not as quite as underrated as it once was, but it's still underrated, and that's The Iron Giant. Brad Bird's The Iron Giant is amazing. This is my favorite Brad Bird film. That's saying a lot, because Incredibles, Ratatouille, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Tomorrowland, but still, he's got a lot of great films. This is my favorite. I love The Iron Giant. Roger Ebert said it the best. This movie is so compelling, you completely forget you're watching drawings on the screen. You feel like you don't even realize you're watching animation because you're just so compelled by these characters in this story. I love this story between Hogarth and the Iron Giant. Such a beautiful relationship. The voice acting is super good. Christopher McDonald is so great as Ted Mansley. And the kid actor who plays Hogarth is so good. Jennifer Aniston is really good. I love Harry Connick Jr. as Dean. And yeah, just the whole story is just so great, so lovely. It's a beautiful friendship story with a great message, great animation. Why this movie tanked in 1999 is just baffles me, but I'm glad people are loving it now. I'm glad it was in Ready Player One, and just, I love this movie. And yes, still to this day, it's still underrated.
Before the camera started rolling, guys, we actually said probably 2 films would be mentioned on both of our lists, and this one will be mentioned a little higher up. So, good call on The Iron Giant. Really love that film so much. Yes, I am Superman. Number 9 for me is a film that I just got from my daughter after finding it finally on DVD, and that is The Brave Little Toaster. Now, the first Brave Little Toaster film for me was a really cute story, and rewatching it, it's definitely looks a little different compared to other Disney films, but this is a straight to DVD version of it, and I enjoy this again so much. I think the characters of the toaster, the blanket, the vacuum, you got the lamp, they're all going after to find their owner. It's a very, it's not very accurate. Obviously, these things aren't moving around, but in the same vein as like a Toy Story where our toys are walking around, we have these appliances walking around trying to find their master. It's a really awesome story. Like, they miss him so much, they want to be with him, and it's just kind of a fun little heartfelt story, and it has a very epic conclusion at the junkyard as well, and seeing the master and his appliances or his household items reunite together, it's very awesome, and my daughter thoroughly enjoys this film too, so I'm looking forward to watching it more and more with her as she grows up, because this was another film that I used to watch a lot as well.
I loved The Brave Little Toaster when I was I haven't watched it since I've been a kid, but I loved it as a child. I thought that movie was awesome. I heard there was like a sequel where they like go to Mars or something. I'm just like, what? the appliances go to Mars. That sounds great. But yeah, I have to rewatch that. I haven't seen that movie since I've been like 9 or 10 years old, but I loved that as a kid. So I want to see if it still holds up. Probably still does. Anyways, number 9. This is, I think, my only Disney film on my list. Let me double check. Yes, I'm right. This is my only Disney film on my list. This was part of the Disney Renaissance, and this movie got overshadowed by the monster films that came out in the Disney Renaissance, like Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, to name a few. This one just got overshadowed completely. That's The Rescuers Down Under. This movie is so fucking good. I love the original Rescuers, but this is by far the better movie. It's a really great sequel. The sheer scope and size of this film is amazing. The animation is gorgeous. Like that scene when the boy like jumps off the big mountain stuff and he flies with the bird. It feels like I'm watching like How to Train Your Dragon. You feel like you're flying with this kid. It's just unbelievable. And you got George C. Scott as the poacher, as the villain. George C. Scott as the villain, it just made to work. And it gets your 2 favorite mice back, and they have to go on another mission and stuff, and it's so awesome. It's a really great action adventure. It feels like it's the Indiana Jones of a Disney animated film. I love this movie. I hate that it got so overshadowed by all the great Disney Renaissance films. A lot of them, yeah, are better than this movie, but this movie is still really solid. I loved it as a kid. I still love it to this day. And yeah, it's a great Disney Renaissance film that more people should watch.
Definitely, that's a great call. I thought you were going somewhere else with your pick for Disney, but that's a great film. I actually wish it was made at least my honorable mentions, because that's another one that's so much better than the first one, considering it came out like 20 plus years after the first film came out, and they have the original cast of Bianca and Bernard. A great pick there, and very good message in that film as well. So good call. Coming in at number 8 on my list is a film that I've mentioned to people before, and they have no recollection of this film at all. It came out the same year as Jurassic Park. It's another dinosaur film called We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. Now, this film is awesome. You know, I absolutely grew up loving dinosaurs. Of course, we had Jurassic Park, and that was maybe a little mature for younger kids' audience. But this film right here, We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, is more grounded for the kids, and it's awesome. Basically, what happens, this guy goes back in time to get dinosaurs, fills them up with brain grain, which basically makes them these dinosaurs able to talk and communicate with people. They brings them back to the present day, and so that kids can see these dinosaurs, so they won't be so depressed and be happy and be able to see them, because that's their biggest wish. So having these dinosaurs in our time is full with great songs, great voice talent. John Goodman's in this film as well. He gives a great performance in this movie. There is a good villain in there. Sykes, not Sykes, but he's a good villain in here as well, and it revolves around a circus. So it gets a little dark in the third act, but then it comes back and has a happy ending. So We're Back, A Dinosaur Story is one that not many people know of, but I think you should definitely check it out, especially if you're a big fan of Jurassic Park, to see a different take from the dinosaur genre.
Wow. Not only have I not seen that movie, I've actually never heard of it. I just wrote it down right now just so I can watch it. Yeah. I thought I knew every animated movie. Shows what I know, but yeah, I'm just gonna check it out. It's animation dinosaurs. Sign me up. I'm in for it. Yeah, great pick. I've never seen it. I'm excited to see it now. So yeah, all right, number 8. Number 8. This movie is a DreamWorks animated film. This movie was really dark, and this movie, I hate that no one talks about this movie. I loved it when it first came out, and I still love it now. I think it's the best DreamWorks animated film, and that is Deliver Us from Evil. Yes, The Prince of Egypt. The Prince of Egypt is the Moses story. This is a really great, this is actually, I'll say it. Fuck it, I'll say it. It's better than 10 Commandments. I know. Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, fuck you, that's a classic. 10 Commandments has problems and story issues. This one has a perfect story with great music, great characters, and it actually talks about the brother relationship. In the 10 Commandments, the brothers hated each other in the beginning, but this one, Phoebus and Moses are like brothers. I bought their love for each other and stuff. Like, I understand the conflict with both of them and stuff, and now they both want to get along, but they both have different beliefs and stuff. That makes for more interesting developments for each of the characters. The voice acting is amazing. You got Val Kilmer as Moses, and you got Ray Fiennes as Ramesses. So good. You also got like Martin Sheen, no, Martin Free, no, what's his name? Oh my god. Martin Short and Steve Martin as like the comic reliefs. So many Martins. Thank God I didn't say Martin Scorsese. But yeah, also we got Michelle Pfeiffer, Patrick Stewart. Just the music is amazing. The Plague song is like my favorite song in the movie. This has also got a score by Hans Zimmer, a beautiful score. And again, it tells the Moses story in a very mature way and stuff. And it's a very dark and gritty film, but I think kids can learn a lot from this story, and I think it's a really great film, and yes, even better than 10 Commandments. And yeah, very underrated. It didn't do well in the box office. Not a lot of people talk about this movie. They should. It's amazing. My favorite DreamWorks animated movie.
That's a great call right there, and a good follow-up film. If you're going to watch Prince of Egypt, watch Joseph, King of Dreams, because I think that's another good follow-up, the kind of same style as this film. And it's good telling of the biblical story as well. So both of those are good little, like, watch one, immediately watch the second film. They go good together as well. Great pick there, Jay. Number 7 on my list is a film about a dog based off a true story, and it is called Balto. Balto is half dog, half wolf. It is so good. And he's kind of an outcast as well, but in this town, a bunch of the kids are getting sick and they need this medicine, and they send a bunch of sled dogs to go get the medicine, but none of them are returning home. So Balto leads the charge, and he goes out to try to save the day, and he actually does. He has a big bad villain dog on his back as well, and it's good to show us that we shouldn't be judging people by their appearance. That even though this guy is this dog is half dog, half wolf, he was able to prove that he is a good person at heart. He is a hero, and seeing that whole story of him going out and getting this medicine was awesome. It has great voice talent, great visuals. The animation is beautiful, and I remember another film that did semi-successfully, but has a lot of lame sequels afterward that makes the first one not get talked about, because the first film in this little quote-unquote franchise is really, really good. I wish they wouldn't have made these sequels because it kind of bogs down those films. But Balto had to make my list. This is another film that I used to watch all the time, so definitely Balto made my list.
I should have put that in honorable mention. That is a good pick. I like that movie a lot. I think that's a very good pick. Very good pick. Balto. Very good one. Alright, coming to number 7. Alright, let's get to my favorite kind of animated movies. Japanese animated movies. This film just came out last year. No one ever saw it. No one even talks about it. It's amazing. It's directed by Nakao Yamada. This is so good, this movie. I think this movie should be shown in schools. This is a great movie with a great message. This is a movie called A Silent Voice. A Silent Voice is about bullying, and it's a really great story. It's a little hard to watch because it hits a little home for me because I myself was bullied in school. And the beginning of the story is about a girl who is deaf. And kids make fun of her because she's deaf. They rip her hearing aids out of her ear and stuff. And the little boy that picks on her is the main character of the movie. And he picks on her so bad because he wants to impress the girl in his class. And it's a really rough first 40 minutes. And then the next part of the story is him growing up into a teenager. And he's actually a nice guy, and he's the one that gets bullied by people. So it's kind of like karma hitting his way and stuff. And he finds that girl who he picked on who's deaf. He basically learned sign language for years and years after he picked on her. Basically, he has a relationship with her, and they almost become like a couple in the movie and stuff, because he learned from his bullying days that it was wrong stuff, and him being bullied realized, again, it's very bad and stuff. And basically, it's like a romance story between him and his deaf girl and stuff, but they also go through a lot of trials in the movie. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil the ending. It's a rough ending, but yeah, this is a really good movie to watch. I think it's a great movie to show people in school about the tragedies of bullying, and bullying it's rough, it's dark, it's not always pleasant. I always watched those educational bully tapes when I was in school, and they were very corny and stuff. This is a very realistic take on bullying, and also people with handicaps, whether they're deaf or mute or blind or anything. It just shows a very realistic story and a realistic romance about two people who have been bullied and stuff, who have handicaps. It's just a very beautiful story. It's also got beautiful animation, a beautiful score, great voice acting, a good soundtrack too, and amazing movie. I'm upset that a lot of people didn't see this movie, but I did. I certainly loved it, and it's one of the most underrated animated films I've seen.
Yeah, I have not seen that film, and I am wishing I was. You should definitely need to see that one a lot. So my number 6 is kind of cheated a little bit. 60% or 75, roughly about 75% of this film is animated. There is some live action at the beginning of it. It stars Macaulay Culkin and Christopher Lloyd about this kid who is bullied. It's kind of a good little segue as well. He feels kind of hopeless and kind of a weak type of character. He goes into a library to find some books. He slips and falls, and his world is turned upside down into the world of animation, and it is called The Page Master. The Page Master is really The Page Master is it's a lot of fun. I love how they have the 3 different books, adventure, fantasy, and horror, come to life and become his best friends as well. And he goes on this journey through different stories as well. He sees Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There's Moby Dick, and he fights dragons. He kind of overcomes his fears as well. It's a very cool story, and he overcomes his fears, and I absolutely love the message of this film. I think the animation's really good. Great voice cast as well. Patrick Stewart, Whoopi Goldberg, and of course Macaulay Culkin and Christopher Lloyd show up as well. It's just a fun film, and during that time of Macaulay Culkin at the height of his powers with Home Alone and My Girl, there's Page Master in there as well, so definitely go check that one out if you like that.
Good one. Very good pick. Okay. I'm cheating too, almost, but mine's a worse cheat actually than Adam's. My number 6 is two movies, and they're very different movies, but I couldn't pick which one I liked more, and I like them both for the same reason. is because they're both documentaries, but they're animated documentaries in a way. And that's Waltz with Bashir and Tower. Two very different stories, but both very incredibly hard to watch. Waltz with Bashir takes place in 1982, directed by Ari Folman, who plays it like himself in the movie. And it's basically about these Christian military soldiers who massacred 30 or 3,000 Palestinian refugees. And basically, it's him talking with the soldiers who did all the massacres and all his fellow soldiers and friends. And it's an interview, but all in animation and stuff. And it's a rough movie. It's a hard R with a lot of violence and a lot of crass language. Like, bad language is an understatement, but it's a rough film, but it's it's a raw and amazingly told story, and the animation is absolutely incredible. And next is the movie Tower. I almost like this movie better than Waltz with Bashir, but Waltz with Bashir is a better designed movie, but this is a compelling story, Tower. This takes place in 1966, and this was during Texas University when the sniper rifle hold the people hostage in the school for 96 minutes. He had the sniper and he killed all those people in the Texas University. This entire movie is a documentary, but it's all in animation. You get to see the real life people, but they basically reenact the whole event when the guy killed all those people, all in animation. It is the most intense movie, and one of the most intense documentaries I've ever watched. Like, my nails were digging through the chair, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And seeing these people, what they had to go through, like, this one girl was pregnant, she got shot twice in the back when her dead boyfriend was on top of her. And she stood there for 96 minutes like that. Like, that is unsettling. Both these movies are very unsettling and very dark, and I get it if you don't want to watch them, but they are truly compelling and just magnificent. Like, the way they made these movies with the animation, how they're directed, is incredible, and I just couldn't leave them off the list, and I had to put them both because they're both documentary-esque animated films. But yeah, both of them had to make my top 10 list. Very underrated.
Dang, man, those are sound really depressing, really hard, but to watch, but also very intriguing. Especially, I remember that the sniper one. Jeez. Anyway, I'm trying to lighten up the mood now. Coming at number 5 on my list, we mentioned it already, The Iron Giant. I had this one up a little higher originally, but like what you said, this film's getting more recognition now because of Ready Player One, which is awesome. But The Iron Giant, when it came out, surprising that it didn't get big acclaim because it was a very beautiful story. I think maybe it's not as lighthearted as other animated films that came out in the 90s, so I think it deals with some deeper issues that might, make people hesitant to watch it, but it is a very well done film, a very beautiful film, and of course, the Iron Giant is Superman, so him sacrificing himself at the very end of the film was awesome. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, unfortunately, but it's a great film no matter what, so definitely go check this out. Everything Jay said is right on the money, so Iron Giant, number 5 for me.
Oh, I love that movie. So good. Iron Giant. Fred Bird. Amazing. Number 5. Number 5 is another Japanese animated movie. This is a Studio Ghibli movie, and I don't have a lot of Studio Ghibli movies on this list because those are the ones that most people know, like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke. Those aren't underrated. Most people know those films, but this one, a lot of people don't talk about this one. That's From Up on Poppy Hill. From Up on Poppy Hill is directed by Goro Miyazaki. This takes place during the 1964 Olympics. That was in Japan. That has nothing to do with the story. I just thought I'd say that, but still. It's actually a story about high school kids and stuff. It's a romance between these two people. One of them is voiced by Anton Yelchin, rest in peace. And it's about a clubhouse. These kids run this clubhouse, and the school's trying to shut their clubhouse down because they think it's just a rundown piece of crap and stuff, but they try to build the clubhouse back and try to show the history of this clubhouse because it's existed in this school for hundreds of years. It has a lot of history. It's almost a landmark to the school, and basically they want to prove to the school boards that this clubhouse means the world to them, and shutting it down would affect everything, and it would ruin the history of the clubhouse. But it's also a romance between the two main characters who I don't want to know if I should spoil it. I don't know. I won't spoil it. But yeah, there's something with their parents that has a weird connection and stuff. But yeah, it's a really good story. It's a good coming-of-age story with beautiful animation. This is a Japanese anime film, so of course you get amazing, beautiful hand-drawn animation. Like, all the scenes with the wind and the grass, it's just beautiful. I feel like you could just touch it on the screen. It's absolutely beautiful. It's just a great, simple story, a simple coming-of-age story that I adore, and more people should watch. It's a good film.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either, so I'm definitely writing that down too to watch as well. Number 4 for me, I'm cheating on this one. It's 2 films, but they make sense. They correlate with each other. And this is DC animated films. I'm a big fan of those. I'm going to go, my first one is Batman Under the Red Hood and also Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. I feel like those are 2 of the best DC animated films that we have given. Batman Under the Red Hood, the villain's the Red Hood. It deals with the death in the family storyline where the death of Robin by hence the Joker. It's a very complex story with these characters, and you feel for them, and you understand where all the characters are coming from. It's animated beautifully. It has really great villains, and you dive into that Batman character dealing with the loss and dealing with this crazed lunatic of the Joker. It's just a really fun film, especially if you're a Batman fan. But moving into Justice League Flashpoint Paradox, this is another complex animated film where there's a ton of moving parts. It starts off following the Flash, and it deals with his death of his mother and why he's doing the things he's doing. He is very distraught, so he takes off he just starts running as fast as he can, but he breaks the time continuum and goes back to something gets changed in the past when he wakes up, and he's not a superhero anymore. Something happened. He has to go find Bruce Wayne, but it's not Bruce Wayne. In this reality, Bruce was the one who died in the alleyway, and Jonathan Wayne was the one who survived, and he is the one who's Batman in this universe. So it's a very cool twist of basically the world's flipped on its head. And seeing a Flash-led film, I'm not a huge Flash fan, and diving into that character is really cool. And seeing Reverse Flash as the villain was awesome. He's a very maniacal villain who makes all this stuff happen. And I also love the little thing they did at the very end of it when they actually get the timeline back. The voice actors of the original Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, they actually changed. Basically, the ending of this film starts off a new journey of voice talent into the DC animated film. So really cool to see them do that at the very end as well. So these 2 are the best DC animated properties, I feel, and the live action films don't even come close to these ones. So definitely check those ones out.
I think I was focusing too hard on Japanese anime films. I actually didn't think about the fucking superhero movies. Because I would have put Under the Red Hood on my top 10 list. What the hell's wrong with me? Good fix, though. Okay, where are we at? Number 4? Yeah, number 4. 4. It's, shocker, it's a Japanese anime film. And it's directed by Mimoto Hosoda, who did a lot of great films like Summer Wars, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. This is a movie called Wolf Children. Anime fans know all about it. Non-anime fans don't know anything about it. Wolf Children is about a woman who falls in love with a man who is a half human, half werewolf, or just wolf. And basically she has children with him, and she has 2 kids that are half-breeds, human and wolf. But the husband dies in the very beginning of the film, and basically she's left all on her own to raise children who are half wolves, half children, and she has no idea what she's doing. This is basically just a simple story of her raising kids. That's it. There's no villain. There's no big climax or something, big action scene. No, it's a simple story about a mother raising 2 kids. And it deals with a lot of issues that mothers deal with and stuff, especially single mothers and everything. And especially when a kid gets sick, she doesn't know whether to take it to the vet or take it to the hospital because they are not human children. So she has to deal with all the trials these kids have to go through puberty and everything. She has to hide them from society and stuff because they are not normal kids. They are half human, half wolves and stuff. And it's a very beautiful story. It's a very sad story how the movie ends. It's very sad, but it's very beautifully designed. It's a really good story about a single mother and stuff. Again, I can relate to that because I have a single mother and stuff, and it hit a little home for me, and it's a good, relatable film for all single mothers out there, but it's also a really great character study about these 3 characters, and very lovely, very beautiful film, very simple film, and yeah, one of my favorites.
Cool, I've never seen that one either. I'm putting that one on my list. Number 3 for me is a Disney film that I feel gets overlooked in the Disney Renaissance, and that is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And this is a very dark Disney film that deals with mature themes. It does not have a happy ending at all. This is very, I'm going to say dark again. This is a very dark film, but I absolutely really like it. Quasimodo as a hunchback, and he is isolated in this tower. He has one of the greatest Disney villains of all time. Has a very dark, twisted look on life as well, and just basically shuns him into this tower. This is not a pleasant film, not somebody that you're going to pop this in and everybody's going to love this one. But I really appreciate the boldness that Disney had during the Disney Renaissance to make such a breathtaking film that dealt with darker tones and didn't going out and not having a happy ending like all their other films do. It's a very bold move on their part, and this one definitely gets overlooked because of that. So definitely Hunchback of Notre Dame is on my list.
Dark Fire. That's my favorite song. I love that song, Hellfire. It's a creepy song because of what it's about, but yes, really good. The thing about Hunchback of Notre Dame, I love that movie. That movie, I'll say it, that would be like one of my favorite Disney films if it didn't have one problem, is the gargoyles. I can't stand the gargoyles. I don't know why, I just can't stand them. I find them annoying, but the whole movie, amazing. Just the gargoyles, can't stand them. Anyways, good pick. I love that movie though. Number three, un, deux, trois. I'm Canadian, by the way. Anyways, number three. It's another, Japanese animated film. This is directed by Hiromuso Yanabashi. If you know my channel, you know how much I've talked a lot about this movie. I love this movie. This is a movie called When Marnie Was There. When Marnie Was There is so good. This has a good cast too. It has Haley Steinfeld. It has Gina Davis, John C. Reilly. Pretty good cast. Basically, it's about this young girl who basically lives with foster family and stuff. She has no idea who her family was and stuff, and she doesn't really like herself. She finds herself very antisocial. She's very, I would say she doesn't like to talk to other kids and stuff. She's very quiet. She just draws and stuff. I kind of liked her. When I was a kid, I was kind of like that. I always kept to myself and everything. She's very self-conscious about herself, and then she goes to stay with relatives, her foster parents and uncle, for the summer because she has like asthma and stuff. So she goes to a place that, with dry air and stuff. But when she goes to visit her aunt and uncle, she finds this house that seems very familiar. And there she meets a girl named Marnie, who's actually a ghost. And this becomes like a friend. And it's like a friendship story between her and Marnie. And it's like this ghost that she's talking to, and she feels a connection with this ghost. And you later find out that they're actually related. The ghost of Marnie is actually her grandmother. Yes, and she was the last known guardian she had when she was a baby. And the stuff she's seeing aren't ghosts. They're memories in her head. They're not ghosts she's seeing, it's memories. So it's just a very clever story that I did not see coming, and it is one of the very few animated films that's actually legit brought tears to my eyes. How the movie ends and the way Marnie talks to her at the ending and why she had to let her go at the ending and why she died is heart-wrenching. I was bawling. My eyes, I'm like, oh my god. And then it's a very beautiful story with beautiful characters. This friendship is so beautiful. And then you find out that's her grandmother. And oh my god, it's just so good. I love this movie. And it was very underrated. It made my top 10 best of 2015 list. And I love this movie, and more people need to watch it. It's so good.
I've actually seen this one. I actually really like this one as well, so definitely agreed that this definitely is underrated for sure. Number 2 for me is a film that maybe not be it's not accurate to the Russian culture, but I thoroughly enjoy this one. It's another one I used to watch a lot, and that was Anastasia. Anastasia has amazing voice casting, has amazing songs, amazing animation, has a good villain in Rasputin. Christopher Lloyd shows up again on my top 10 list, and he gives a great performance as this villain, but also has a great cast with, you got Meg Ryan, you got John Cusack in there as well. Thoroughly enjoy this film, and I also really appreciate this as well because Anastasia has this great little arc in this film where she's trying to go back and find her last remaining family. and find her place in the world as well. And she doesn't need a guy to like stand up for her. She actually goes after the villain and fights for herself too. So it's a good little good story with a good female antagonist as well. So Anastasia, number 2 on my list.
Again, yeah. Funny thing is, Anastasia is directed by Don Bluth. And my number 2 is a film also directed by Don Bluth. And that's The Secret of Nim. That's my number 2. The Secret of Nim is my number 2. I love this movie. I like it more than Anastasia, but I love Anastasia. I love Don Bluth's movies, like All Dogs Go to Heaven. I love An American Tail, Land Before Time. Anything Don Bluth, except for Troll at Central Park. I hated that movie, but still, all his movies are great. My favorite is Secret of Nim, and this is a very underrated film. More kids, like, all you people with children, Adam, all you people with children, so show your kids The Secret of Nim. It's so good. I love it. It's a little violent, but it's G-rated. It's the most violent G-rated film you'll watch. It's like another Watership Down, but no, it's not. But Secret of Nim is a great movie. It's basically about a little mouse named Mrs. Brisby, and basically she needs to move her house because the humans are clearing the whole plantation and stuff, and basically they need to move their house, but they don't know how to, so they need the rats of Nim to help them move their house. So Mrs. Brisby goes to Nicodemus, who's this very big rat voiced by Derek Jacobi, and basically there's also like this rebellion going with the rats and stuff. There's this other rat who wants to take over the rat colony and stuff, and they also have to deal with this very evil cat, very terrifying cat and stuff, and they also talk about the reasoning why the mice talk. That's what I love about this movie. You think, oh, it's a very innocent film about talking mice. There's actually a reason why the mice talk. That's why there's the society's called NIM, because it was a science experiment. People experimented on rats and mice and stuff and made them intelligent. That's why they can talk. I'm like, that's kind of clever and stuff. And it's a pretty violent movie and stuff, but I still think it's good. I watched it as a kid, and there's nothing wrong with me. But still, really well-directed movie. The animation is super good. I love the animation on the Great Owl and stuff. I love the animation on all the rats, especially Nicodemus, when he's like holding like the gold medallion and stuff. It's just so cool. I love the character of Mrs. Brisby. She's just a mother, wants to help her children and stuff. Just really cool. Very young performance also by Will Wheaton. And yeah, really good movie. Great story. Absolutely love it.
Great pick. I would have put that on my list, but I've only seen it. I haven't seen it for a long time, so I don't really remember it as vividly as you do. But that's a great movie. I remember really enjoying it, but couldn't really tell you everything about the plot other than Mrs. Brisby is a great mother and wants to do whatever she can to get for her kids. So number 1 for me is a film that is an Oscar winner for Best Original Song. One of my favorite DreamWorks movies of all time, The Prince of Egypt. This is a great film. Just everything that Jay said, great film. There's nothing wrong with this one at all. I feel like it follows the biblical story very well. Gives that musical twist to it. Some really good songs, especially When You Believe. That's the song that actually won the Oscar for Best Original Song. I love all the characters in here as well. And like I said before, Joseph King, King of Dreams, it's a good little follow-up right away because it's the same kind of animation style. And this is a film that, like, does not, it's criminal that it doesn't get talked about as much, considering it's DreamWorks. But a little movie called Shrek got more money and gets talked about as the big DreamWorks animation film. But no, The Prince of Egypt was their first, and it is actually a better told story that's more endearing, and it's not just for people who believe in the biblical stories. This is just a great story overall about relationships, family, and following your heart and your path as well. So definitely, Prince of Egypt, number 1, hands down.
Just now we're talking about, after this video, I'm gonna go watch Prince of Egypt. That's how badly I love that movie. Like, I'm gonna go watch it, because that's how fucking good it is. It's so good. And yes, it is better than all the Shrek movies combined, and I like Shrek 1 and 2, but Prince of Egypt is the definitive DreamWorks film for me. But yes, good pick for number 1. And you are right. We have 2 similarities. 2. Very good. Give him a prize. Number 1 for me. It's a Japanese animated film. And This made my second favorite movie of 2016. This is a movie I keep talking about and I keep yelling at my audiences to go see, and no one still listens to me. It's my number one. Everyone knows on my channel knows what it is. It's Your Name. Your Name. Your Name is directed by Makoto Shinkai, who did 5 centimeters per second, The Garden of Words, The Children Who Chase Lost Voices, a lot of great Japanese anime films. Your Name is a masterpiece. I'm not saying that lightly. It's a masterpiece. It's brilliant. The writing, direction, characters, animation, everything, the music, brilliant. It's masterful. This is one of my favorite animated films. It's in my top 5 now, and it just came out in 2016. I love it so much. And it's a body swapping movie, and I'm not always in for those kind of movies about people switching bodies, but they did it so cleverly. There's like a meaning of why they do and stuff about this boy and this girl that switch bodies. It starts off as a comedy, but then it goes into a drama, and then almost like a time traveling movie. I'm like, holy shit, like what the hell? There's always a bunch of turns that this movie brings, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful romantic story. You love these characters. Mitsuha and Taki are the two main characters. Compelling three-dimensional characters. Voice acting fantastic. And I don't want to spoil it, but like how you find out how her story ends, and it's up to his story to save her story, is brilliant. And it's super well directed. How the movie ends is so beautiful, so sad. Sad in a good way. It's happy sad. It's not depressing sad. It's not Waltz with Bashir. It's happy sad, but it's so amazing. The animation is spectacular. The characters, again, are so relatable and so likable. The romance is so beautiful. Everything about this movie I love. It's a good feel-good movie, but it's got everything. It's got comedy, it's got drama, it's got time travel, it's got all that stuff. It's so freaking good. And it flies by. It's an hour and 50 minutes, and it flies by. I have the Blu-ray of this movie. I've seen it 5 times since I've had the Blu-ray. I can't get enough of it. I just can't get enough of it. It's amazing. It's, so good. It's my number 1 most underrated movie, animated movie. Go see it. Go see it. So yeah, that was both of our top 10 most underrated animated movies in our opinions and stuff. Feel free to disagree with us, but yeah, thank you, Adam, for being on my channel once again for a top 10 list. I'm very curious what our next one will be, but yeah, Adam, tell all my subscribers where they can find you.
It's such an honor to be on your channel once again, Jay. Thank you again. This was a lot of fun, really difficult, but I was up for the challenge. And you guys can find me here on YouTube at Almost Sideways, where I do reviews, reactions, and rankings of all things movies. And would love to have you guys come over and join the conversation. You can find me on Twitter as well at Adam Sideways. Really easy. I love talking movies, and I respond to as many comments as I possibly can. Hope to see you in the comments section. Thanks again, Jay.
Also, #evolution. We're slowly coming. It's happening. You watch it. I'm talking to you, Ryan and Cody. I know you're watching. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. And as always, comment below. Let me know, what do you guys think are the top 10 most underrated animated movies in your guys' opinion. Comment below. Let me know. And as always for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.
The dark side.